Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. So we're going to do another team versus video. We're going to use, Beast Gohan versus the Gammas. Obviously on Global Dokkan, part 2 of the 9th anniversary dropped with the DOKKANFEST LR Beast Gohan, as well as the Carnival LR Gamma 1 and 2. Both characters are obviously definitely elite, very powerful units. I would say that probably I would rank the Beast Gohan quite a bit better than the Gammas, I would say. I mean, the Gammas are not terrible, but, I mean, they have issues, which we're going to see in 2 seconds. Now, to be completely fair to the Gammas and what happens right here is, I mean, it's a bad opening rotation. Orbs weren't really too good. Again, I mean, people will oftentimes be like, oh, like orb changers and all this stuff, and while a lot of that is true, and you could set up orbs ahead of time and stuff like that, which can be true, but not when you just load into a new phase, right? And I mean, unfortunately, we had double Gammas right here. Remember, people, so in the comments, y'all did say if it's a legitimate leader character, you guys would prefer if we run the team itself, right? So we're running double Gammas and we're running double Beast Gohan as leader skill units, right? That's what you guys said you prefer. Well, I mean, we have bad luck. We got double Gammas, and one of the Gammas gets one shot. But, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, the thing is, the Gammas are not really that good turn 1. Once you start transforming with them, they get, obviously, a lot better. Now, the Gammas, way back in February when they first came out, it was, when they first came out, it's not like they would get killed turn 1 anyway. Obviously, nowadays, I mean, there's fights that just hit way, way, way harder turn 1, and we're in one of these fights. So, the fights I'm doing here is I typically do 2 fights for these Supreme Magnificent Battle stages. The first fight we're going to do is against the Tournament of Power Android 17 and 18 fight. And then the second fight we're going to do is the Tournament of Power Gohan and Piccolo fight. So, right here, the Gammas get caught. Again, I mean, there's nothing we could have done with this. This is hidden potential system dodge territory, and that's it. There's the Gammas eating 1.4 million turn 1, and then we lose. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I guess we probably would have died regardless. Besides, hidden potential system dodge would have had to trigger there regardless. Even if I had a Scouter and put Evolution Blue Vegeta in front of the Super or some shit like that, we still probably would have need some dodge in slot 1. But it is what it is. We load back up, and then, just by good luck, I guess, we don't get double Gammas in the same turn. And then over here, I mean, we could see Gogeta in slot 3. I mean, he does take a fair amount of damage. 238's not really that bad, but, I mean, he does take some damage even in slot 3 against Krillin and Android 18. That's interesting, though. Both runs, the Krillin and 18 supered in slot 3 in both sides. That actually is kind of interesting to kind of see that play out. Now, if it's a little bit deeper in the fight, obviously the Gammas can perform much better. I mean, Gamma 1 by himself towards the end is mega elite defensively, but it is just a fact of the matter that in most of these fights, remember, like Gamma 1 is not out for most of the fight. He could be. You could get the Gammas turn 2, right? You take a ton of damage, like this. Like Gamma 1 getting slapped up right there. Gamma 1 took a little bit more than I was expecting, by the way. It's just, having to get hit is just toxic. Now, I knew Piccolo even took a little damage right there, right? He took some damage. I knew Piccolo, I could put him in slot 1, because Krillin and 18 had supered previously in slot 3, so I knew he was safe to go in slot 1, so I figured I could just put him there, let him build up, and we'd be A-okay, but having to get hit to build up is just such shit. It's just so terrible. Having to get hit, man. It's not good. It's just terrible. It's bad. It's horrible. It's not good. Whatever we want to say, that's exactly what it is. It's terrible. So, we are, we took a lot of damage on both sides, really, with Gamma 1 and Piccolo building up. I tried to split up the teams, by the way, so the Gammas just straight up lead superhero. And I went into a reasonable difficulty level fight here. I mean, as you guys can see, it's not exactly super weak, so I wanted, to be able to bring competitive characters. And that's, you know, the good news is that Superhero does have such a ridiculous roster that we could pretty much bring like a super top tier team, just mostly fishing into the Superhero roster. Obviously, I did bring Broly on Beast Gohan's team, since we're able to get him. Remember, Beast also has Bond and Master and Disciple, as well as Miraculous Awakening on his leader skill. So we're able to actually get Broly ready to go. Now, this is what I was referring to. The Gammas have a really good condition. One of the strongest things about the Gammas is their Mega Elite condition, I think. So either you do 3 attacks, which isn't really so bad. I mean, if they're a floater, maybe the enemy gets killed before they get a chance to attack as the floater or something like that. But then you also could be below 70% HP and you could do it. So right here, we were able to get the Gammas into their standby on turn 2, which means we'll be able to beat Gamma 1, you know, their 3rd phase, just on turn 4. So, like, when you get best case luck, like, that's really good. But, again, remember, you don't want to just think of a character in, oh my god, you know, perfect terms, or them at their peak or something like that. Like, kind of like what is happening a lot of the time. We got good luck on this second run, so, like, we're going to have fast Gamma 1. On the left side, Beast did get sealed. That's why I've seen talk of players having full dodge on their Beast. I don't know. I mean, I say I don't know. A lot of people would just be like, what? No way. Oh, it's foolish. I mean, here's the thing. Beast Gohan, there now is an enemy that potentially can catch Beast Gohan. We've had it happen. We've had Beast tank that boss, the 6 million super boss Frieza, like a champ, and I've had him get killed by their normals. Like, we have a real boss who's actually, you know, depending upon how the fight goes, a real threat, potentially, to Beast Gohan. So, I mean, giving him raw defense or dodge makes a ton of sense. Now, dodge, the thing about it, when you dodge a super, like 17, 18 super right there, that's sealed Beast. So Beast is not going to do any damage because he's sealed, and his active draws all attacks to him, which includes the sealing super attack. If your Beast has dodge, you can dodge that super and thus dodge the debuff. So a dodging Beast Gohan, mine is not dodge, but a dodging Beast Gohan potentially could have done way more damage right there, right? By dodging the debuff from the boss. So that is something to consider. I would probably recommend to build your Beast Gohan with the anniversary equips. I think that would be my kind of like recommendation. So like global players, you guys do have access to the event. Get those like 3 defensive equips that you get from that, put that on your Beast Gohan, and that probably should suffice, I would say. Now, we are taking a lot of damage. I mean, the Goku here is more of a threat. 17 and 18 aren't the scariest, but Goku's damage is like 2.4 million or something like that. I decided to pop the Orange Piccolo active here. I mean, just a lot of it is I did just want to kind of like get the animation in here. Now, I always explain this, but this is not necessarily a race. It's not a race. I think people look at this and just assume it's a race, but like one thing I've said many times, I'm not good at like speed running and shit like that. Like one thing you guys never really see me do is try and do like speed run challenges or anything like that. I don't consider myself good at like speed running type stuff. I'm a little bit more slow and methodical, and I'd much rather do, you know, like no item type challenges than like, you know, like kind of like, you know, like speed run type challenges. So, you know, we want to just like get the animation, see how like a capable team, you know, next to each other and stuff like that can kind of run, and kind of that's what we're doing here. So, Orange Piccolo, I mean, at this point, I mean, he's closing in on 2 years old, which is pretty nuts to think about, because I remember vividly and clearly, remember they were revealed at Jump Festa, and then we were waiting on the official like reveal. Dude, I remember, I was that like a week in between or something? It was something like that. I remember just being so like, oh my god, I cannot wait to see what they're like, Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo. And obviously, it was more like LR Ultimate Gohan and Orange Piccolo, but I mean, we're ready for another Orange Piccolo at this point, right? I mean, we easily could get a start of turn Orange Piccolo, but I do say that, and you know what else we easily could get is a start of turn blue Gogeta, right? We've had 50 blue Gogetas in Dokkan, but none of them are just turn 1 blue Gogeta. I would love a turn 1 blue Gogeta. You guys know what makes Beast Gohan the strongest unit in Dokkan history, in my opinion. It's just the fact that he just comes out the gate and he's God. There's no shenanigans. Oh no, we started in slot 7. No bullshit like that. Beast Gohan just shows up, and you got the best unit in the game right there, right from turn 1. So I'd love, right, a new turn 1 Orange Piccolo, turn 1 full power Super Saiyan Broly, right? Turn 1 legendary Super Saiyan Broly from DBZ. Turn 1 blue Gogeta. I want all that shit. Just turn 1. Give it to me. Give it to me now. Give it to me now. You want to know another one that we could get another turn 1 of? Full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I know we just got a Goku that is kind of like full power Super Saiyan 4, but remember, it's regular Super Saiyan 4 Goku that transforms into it. We've only ever had one start of turn full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and that's the Tech TUR, who actually was the Tanabata unit back in 2018. Yeah, he was the Tanabata character back in 2018, and then starting in 2019, they started to make the Tanabata character a DOKKANFEST LR, right? So in the meantime, Orange Piccolo's been, you know, just attacking 17 and 18 repeatedly. And, you know, over on the right side, the Gamma's team is kind of like finishing things off. We have the Gamma standby. I mean, one thing that helps the Gamma's team a lot is that we have UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. I mean, you get those two together, and they are just devastating. Goku and Vegeta. I mean, we know they're two of the best units in Dokkan history. They are the best EZAs in Dokkan history. I mean, they can make content as hard as they are when they're giving us gods and behemoths on that level, man. I love it. I love summonable, like, you know, they are anniversary summonable LRs, but they came out 3 years ago, and they are just a dream. 17, 18 are really hanging in there. They've had like a sliver of health for quite a while here. Are you kidding me? It's taken us a long time to finish them off with that sliver of health they had right there. All right, so Piccolo leaves his Orange Piccolo state, and then obviously we have mastered Tech UI Goku right there. You know, 17, 18 only have a sliver of health right there, so we're pretty easily going to be able to finish it off. And then we just have the Goku left on the left side. We should mostly demolish him on this turn, though. Blue Gogeta's the one character I did include on both teams. I felt like he would be kind of like a fine character to have in both lineups with his healing, his Rainbow Orb changing, and potentially his target mechanic. I just felt like he is a great character to run. I mean, he tends to not be too cumbersome because he doesn't really need a lot of build-up and stuff like that. The one thing about him is you do just gotta float him off right away. That's kind of like the biggest thing with Gogeta. As long as you're able to float Gogeta off immediately, you know, he will have potentially a really big impact on the fight. So, even though the Gamma's team died, I mean, the death wasn't really that bad because it was turn 1, right? But even though they died, they actually finished the fight faster because I did the Orange Piccolo transformation. Now, I believe I recorded the Gamma footage first because I figured if I was going to have any issues, it was more likely that I would have issues with the Gamma's team, because obviously having double Beast Gohan is it's very difficult to die with double Beast Gohan team, even in like all these really hard fights, right? Like, it's like you kind of gotta, I mean, we either need really bad luck or shenanigans have to happen or something in order for kind of like this team to not just outright terrorize the entire game, right? Now, Gamma 1 did not impress me in the first run we did. That damage he took right away, I just was like, I am not... There's no way I'm doing that. This Gohan hits really hard turn 1, so I didn't want Gohan out there, or Gamma 1 out there. I did bring Krillin and Android 18. You know, they're also one of these characters that came out with the global anniversary just now, so I figured I'd give them a try. The thing about them, though, is that they do have to dodge, or else we're going to lose. As long as Krillin and 18 get their dodges in, we will be fine. I wasn't really impressed with our opening rotation, because the Gammas are weak turn 1, Gogeta's kind of weak turn 1, right? Like, so we didn't really have a great character to go slot 1 right here, so I just went with Krillin and 18, and lucky for us, they did actually come through right there. The Beast Gohan team wraps up, and then they'll go ahead and jump into the Gohan and Piccolo fight as well. I don't think I did any differences, right? So we have Orange Piccolo in slot 7. We do have Broly on turn 1. Now, remember, there's a huge thing if you're going to use Broly and Tech UI. Those are kind of like the two biggest ones, I think, right now. Broly and Tech UI, right? Where if you get them turn 1, we're good. They could transform on turn 5. Probably not going to be too bad. But you get Broly or Tech UI Goku in slot 7, and it's not looking good. Tech UI Goku, it's especially annoying, right? Because Tech UI Goku has got that dodge-enabling domain. So we could be going up against one of those dodge-canceling fights, and you get Tech UI Goku in slot 7, you lose right away. I'm going to be talking about this a lot because I know how much it frustrates people, but unfortunately, it's a thing I do truly think is here to stay. And that's going to be how big of an impact opening rotations are. I think Dokkan does not want to let people pick their rotations or anything like that. Dokkan very clearly, this is only a recent thing where they have these abilities that are not start of battle, but the character's, start of turn. That's a very recent thing. So to me, it's, again, super, super, super clear that it's actually going to be a thing that they're really going to pushing forward. Between attempt limits plus these start of turn terrible transformation conditions, they want, very clearly, people to get frustrated by opening rotation RNG. And I guess I would assume they want people to get frustrated and then summon to get the new character or summon to get a dupe. I mean, is it a scummy practice? Yeah, but I mean, it is a gacha game, unfortunately. It is what it is. But I am, unfortunately, pretty pessimistic about the fact that I think that they're going to increase, like, opening turn RNG, not decrease it. They're going to increase it. It is a thing that I think is going to be happening. So we get a Broly dodge on a super attack right there. That's fire. Broly would have taken big damage from that. 400k, 500k, I think, something like that. Broly was going to eat like 400 or 500k from that. So it was nice for him to dodge that super. Saves us a lot of damage. And then obviously this Gohan can be attack debuffed. So now Blue Kaioken, Goku Evolution, Blue Vegeta, they'll go ahead and get to doing their thing. And then they could debuff Ultimate Gohan quite a bit with a lot of their debuffs, which is definitely something I do appreciate. I feel like so a lot of characters have pretty bad additional luck. I really feel like I want to say this is a character that I typically have really nice additional luck with, is Blue Kaioken, Goku, and Evolution Blue Vegeta. I feel like it's a pretty consistent thing for me, where we're seeing them super 3 times a turn, maybe 4 times a turn. I feel like I do see them super more often than not, which I really appreciate, because I typically do have pretty bad additional luck. So a character who wants to come through and get their additionals from me, I will love. Beast Gohan is a similar thing, where, Beast dodged that. Interesting. So dodging that attack right there, that means he would not have the additional super then by dodging that. So that is a hidden potential system, and then there's that. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I guess that, okay. So that is a potential. We talked about the positives of dodge on Beast. There's the negative of dodge on Beast, right? Is when he gets hit, he gives the 3 key to the rotation, but then he also gets the guaranteed additional super. So we missed out on that, actually, by Beast dodging that attack. That is something that can happen, too. I mean, there's a risk and a reward to most stuff. Again, if we were dodging a super attack from a boss that's stunned or sealed, it's not a big deal. But again, that was a negative point of it. Now, with the Gammas get quite a bit better once they're in their standby phase. So I felt pretty... Oh, a lot of dodges by them. Okay. So I felt pretty comfortable just go ahead and putting them in slot 1. not even having to worry about Tech UI Goku not dodging or Krillin and Android 18 not dodging, just throwing the Gammas in right there, and I figured that they would be safe. And then obviously on their next turn, we'd be able to drop down that Gamma standby. We are using LR Physical Ultimate Gohan, by the way. He's a character that definitely can look quite a bit better next to LR Beast Gohan. LR Beast Gohan covers up some of his weaknesses. Another slot 3 super on Gogeta, huh? Interesting. But Beast Gohan can cover up some of Ultimate Gohan's weaknesses. One of the major ones being Ki, of course. Because remember, when Beast gets hit, he gives that 3 Ki to the whole rotation, which is, you know, kind of a big deal. So throughout this run, Gohan is like never attacking slot 1 on the left side, on the Beast Gohan side of things. So it's causing us to move quite a bit slower, since we're not having him be able to get hit and then get that guaranteed additional super, right? So that's kind of causing us to move just a little bit slower. And then on the right side, now we're moving into deep enough into the fight where UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta will be able to toss out their actives and kind of let shit run wild there. The Gohan and Piccolo phase is not really that scary. Like, that's kind of like the difference between this fight and I guess one of like the mega elite fights is the Gohan and Piccolo. They're only, I believe, like a slight upgrade over what the Gohan was in terms of damage. And it's only just like a quick 2-phase fight. You know, there is the Blue Kaioken Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta fight. That one is significantly more spooky because in there you've got Goku and Vegeta turn 1 who could double super, you know, double 2.4 million super as well. And then you get to Vegeta with dodge canceling, and he's a 3 million super boss, right? It gets, again, very toxic. I mean, they are making these fights brutal in terms of, I guess, unfair abilities. And, I mean, really, it's not the biggest deal. So, like, if you look at the rotation we have on the right team, AGL UI, Evolution Blue Vegeta, and Blue Gogeta, that rotation is not going to get challenged by basically, like, anything in the game. Pretty much. I mean, I guess if there's dodge canceling or something, sure. But you get what I'm saying, right? But, like, if we're using a 2023 rotation, where maybe we have, like, DOKKANFEST Kale, or some shit like that, or we're running, like, Physical Turles, those characters are just not able to cut it anymore. And that's kind of what Dokkan is doing with the big power creep. I don't know. I feel like it's not good. Like, I do not want 10th anniversary to have big power creep. I would much rather fights remain at a very similar level. So they did this 7th anniversary at a major difficulty event reset with Red Zone, right? And then the 8th anniversary year didn't really have anything super crazy until the very end of the year. We got Fusion Zamasu. But, I mean, it's Fusion Zamasu, like, it definitely was tough with his AoE right away. But it's not like Fusion Zamasu, like, he was only doing an extra couple 100,000 over, like, Omega from the first GT Red Zone, right? Like, it wasn't like a, 50 times jump. Now, 9th anniversary was the biggest power creep we've seen in events thus far, but this year, all the characters we're getting have been so good. I mean, Tech Jiren and, like, EZA AGL Bardock, you could probably say, like, STR Super Vegeta as well, are just, like, characters who are kind of, like, middling, but most other releases have either been very good or great. Most of the releases this year have been really, really strong. So, just, again, I can't really explain it too well, but we end up going quite slow, again, on the left side right here. I believe Gohan actually lives with a sliver of HP, right? He does. He even lives. We get to turn 5 right here. And I think a huge part of how slow we went on this team on the left side is just where the attack placements were. This is like the slowest I've ever gone in this fight. It's so funny. And then we did finish pretty fast with the Gammas. I mean, I guess it makes sense because the Gammas team is the one that had UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, and we had them like right away, right together, so they were able to just completely terrorize. But Superhero is so crazy, right? There's so many, like, I mean, the only non-superhero character we're running in the video is Broly. And, I mean, again, you guys just see, like, how dominant the superhero roster is. I am very curious to see what's going to come for the rest of the year. They have burned through most of the major superhero and super bosses stuff they could. Well, no, I mean, superhero, there's a lot more they could do. Because, I mean, they could always do another God Goku, right? They could always go back to God Goku. They could always go back to Resurrection F with Blue Goku, Blue Vegeta, Roshi and stuff like that. But super bosses seem to be a major theme this year. And it's so funny, Cell Max is a major addition, but super bosses is still struggling, I think, with a slot 1 issue. Super bosses, you know what I think potentially really like to see, maybe even as the next Dokkan. This video is going to go up, I think, after the next Dokkan Fest is announced. So I'm recording this before the next Dokkan Fest is announced. But like, I think maybe like a super bosses Golden Frieza from the Resurrection F arc is a possibility. Something like that, who could be, if he is just what the LR was modern day for super bosses, that's a huge W. That's what super bosses needs. It just, because you have enough damage with Broly and Cell Max and Rose and shit like that. They just need more slot 1 defensive ability. Like, imagine we get LR Golden Frieza, but like he's just, you know, even better defensively, and obviously he's updated a little bit. And then what if he like Rainbow Orb changed as well? So we have like a new Golden Frieza for super bosses, defensive slot 1 God, which is all super bosses needs. And then he's also orb changing to help out Broly, Chai, and Lemo, who a lot of times you would want them as your other slot 1, because super bosses doesn't really like, that would be just so goddamn good, man. That would be so fire. I would love that so much. Now we're gonna be able to wipe out Gohan and Piccolo pretty quickly here. Remember, we do have Broly's transformation in our back pocket, and we also have Gogeta's target mechanic in our back pocket as well. So this fight is already done in the Gohan and Piccolo. Again, just kind of the way things went, we ended up going very slow, but there wasn't really much of a point where the team actually got challenged. And the reason the team went so slow, there's 2 reasons the left side went way slower. I mean, obviously, I did use Orange Piccolo once. I wanted to get in the video, right? And then, obviously, with the second run there, again, we weren't really able to get those hits in quickly. So there's the Beast Gohan Unit Super. I still think that the Unit Super is not really the biggest deal getting that for him. But one thing that is super good about that Unit Super, right, is you are going to actually be able to change his attack from being just a normal melee super, which Kid Buu can block, into going into being an other type super. So that's actually going to go ahead and you know, be able to get through Kid Buu's defenses. So that's the biggest value I've found from Beast Gohan's Unit Super attack, is that rather than having just a regular melee, which Kid Buu will block, he'll be able to have an other type super, which will be able to, you know, actually do damage to Kid Buu. But besides that, it's like Beast, he's not getting extra damage. He just gets an attack break, and then he gives allies a little bit of crit chance. Not really the craziest. If anything, you potentially could make the argument that the attack break could hurt Beast, because remember, he does have that extra build-up damage reduction that's very important. Either he does a lot of attacks or gets hit a lot of times. So, I mean, if you attack break and get rid of one of the times he could get hit, that's potentially not really the best thing, right? And another reason why dodge could potentially hurt him as well, because, I mean, it is pretty big to be able to have that extra damage reduction of his up, right? All right, so Broly will be able to deliver the final blow right here, and then that is going to be that. So let me know what you guys think of the superhero category in general. 3 of the 4 anniversary LRs were superhero. And I guess, I mean, okay. Of every Dokkan Fest LR and Carnival LR slot this year, we have, what, 4 superhero Dokkan Fest or Carnivals? And then we have 2 Super Boss Dokkan Fest or Carnivals, with Beast, Tech UI, Gogeta, Gammas, and then we have LR Jiren and LR Broly as the Super Bosses ones. I'm gonna assume worldwide download celebration, there's no way they could do superhero Super Bosses again. I mean, they could, but I mean, they'd have to dip into the Trunks arc, and that was literally worldwide last year. I think something like GT related, or maybe Namek Saga, maybe even, they could do the Gohan worldwide, where, you know, Gohan and Cell and Gohan and Bojack, right? There's options, but there we go. Let me know what you guys think of the Gamma's team versus Beast Gohan team. I'll catch you guys next time. Mwah!